Swamp rats are shaking more than ever after what Sara Carter and company unleashed on them by US4Trump.com. Sara Carter joined Steve Hilton on Fox News The Next Revolution this weekend in an informative interview. Sara discussed the two-tier justice system, the Clinton Foundation investigation, and why the bureaucracy are shaking in their boots. Additionally, Steve invited Charlie Kirk, founder of Turning Point, and Lisa Booth, a Fox News contributor and senior fellow and head of the Independent Women's Voice. In this powerful segment, they discuss the two-tiered justice system, the Clinton Foundation, Ponzi schemes among lobbyists, and what the deep state fears the most. Two-tiered justice system. Steve questioned the equal justice or lack of it. He then used John Podesta as an example during the Manafort trial. Sara confirmed that John Podesta, former Hillary Clinton campaign manager, was given immunity if he testified against Manafort. The Clinton Foundation is under investigation. The Clinton Foundation is actually under investigation by the FBI right now, Sara reminds Steve and America. Yeah, right. The rats investigating the rats, right? You expect anything? Who's going to investigate Clinton Foundation? They're pretending they're investigating. They're not investigating crap on her. Furthermore, Sara stated that she absolutely does believe it's going to go somewhere because it was Hillary Clinton and the DNC who actually paid for the dossier to a foreign spy. Sara tells Steve, and there is information on Haiti and money moved into the Clinton Foundation. She said as much good as some parts of the Clinton Foundation have done. I think there's a lot that needs to be investigated and exposed. You think maybe? Ponzi schemes and lobbyists. In a brilliant assessment, Charlie Kirk, founder of Turning Point, said they, meaning the deep state, are trying to undo the results of a rightful election. Sure, let's take a listen instead of me reading it. But yeah, of course that's what they're doing. The deep state is still shaking, said Carter. They're concerned they wouldn't be fighting back so hard. They wouldn't be tweeting out these tweets from John Brennan, as you know, Michael Hayden, and I'm talking about both the left and the right. They wouldn't be attacking so viciously if they weren't afraid. Yeah, but what I'm saying, look, Trump tweets viciously. He's not afraid. He's just telling the people what it is, what's going on. Brennan could be afraid, not Trump. Trump is saying, hey, people, wake up. These people are not doing what they're supposed to be doing. They're trying to get me out of office. I'm trying to help America here. I gave up so much of my life that he could have retired anything what he wanted. He's a billionaire. He didn't have to deal with this kind of crap, but he wanted to save America and for his family also, the next generations. Trump loves America, and that's what these deep state swamp rats hate about Donald Trump, because they don't want to be outed for their criminality. They've taken money and everything from everybody. They ripped this country off.
Fox News contributor Sara Carter. Sara, we met the other week in DC. I was so excited to see you. I'm such a fan. You said you love the show. We said, well, let's get you on, and here you are. I'm so happy to see you.
I'm happy to be here, Steve, and the feeling is mutual. It was a great monologue. I think you pointed out so many significant and important facts there about this two-tiered justice system and what's happened here in Washington. I'm grateful for one thing, though. Had President Donald Trump not been elected, we would have never really seen the scope of this or the magnitude of this.
That's right.
So let's just take one of the points there. There's so much to choose from, but I want to focus on this point about equal justice or the lack of it. Let's just look at Podesta. He's such a good example. His name has come up in the Mueller process, along with Manafort. Is anything happening that's equivalent to what's happened with Manafort to Podesta?
Well, he's been given immunity if he testifies against Manafort, and so I think that's very significant. Look, we've been seeing this from the beginning, and this is the reason why these congressional investigations have been so important to get the information out to the American people. Let's just go back to 2016, on July 4th weekend, when the FBI was interviewing Hillary Clinton. When they interviewed her, she was basically not under oath. It was done on a July 4th weekend very quietly. She had Cheryl Mills with her, which was extraordinary because she was actually a witness as well if they were investigating her. Later we find out that Comey had basically already started to write the exoneration letter way before the interview, which is extraordinary in and of itself. So what we're seeing here is a consistent pattern of behavior where the establishment, and you pointed that out in your monologue, the swamp, whether it be the right or the left, because I think we've seen both sides just vehemently go after this administration, go directly after the administration. Paul Manafort, we knew it. Paul Manafort is part of this big swamp problem. You're very right. But they didn't do the same with Hillary Clinton. And if you look at the FBI 302s, those were the ones on the Hillary Clinton interview, because remember, they didn't record it. So they had to wait until those 302s were released. We find out that shortly after the story broke that she had a private server, just weeks after that, she used BleachFit to clean off her entire server, and significant amounts of emails just disappeared forever. But she was never reprimanded for that. She was never held accountable for that. Just imagine if President Trump would have done that, if somebody would have done that around him. I mean, this would be extraordinary, and I mean, I really believe it would be all over the news. But it just quietly kind of went away. And then just look at the FISA applications and the dossier and the use of the Clintons, who actually, Hillary Clinton herself and her foundation is still under investigation right now. I don't think people realize this. The Clinton Foundation is actually under investigation by the FBI right now. And it was the Hillary Clinton campaign and the DNC who actually paid, right, for the dossier to a foreign spy. Just interesting.
And the Clinton Foundation, of course, and you've played a real part in exposing all this, is again, a bit like Manafort, is the model of how the swamp works in terms of cash for access and policy. Just one quick last question to you, Sarah, before I bring in Lisa and Charlie. What's your prediction on that investigation of the Clinton Foundation? Is that going to go anywhere? What are we going to see, and when might we see it?
I absolutely do believe it's going to go somewhere. What I know is that there were 5 FBI field offices involved in this investigation. They are still involved in this investigation. Little Rock, Arkansas is taking the lead. I think there's significant information on Haiti that's still out there. I think there's significant information on money that was being moved into the Clinton Foundation, and that they are continuing this investigation. It would be a shame. It would be a shame if they dropped this investigation or tried to bury it, because I think a lot of people, there's been a lot of injustice, in particular, as much good as some parts of the Clinton Foundation have done. I think there's a lot that needs to be investigated and exposed.
Yes, I mean, and this is going to keep on going unless this kind of behavior, this swampy behavior, is held to account. So with me now, Fox News contributor and senior fellow at Independent Women's Voice, Lisa Booth, and Turning Point USA founder and author of the upcoming book, Campus Battlefield, Charlie Cohen. First time on the show, Charlie, great to see you. Lisa, an old friend back with us.
Yes, and it's so good
and
to
your
see
friend,
Charlie.
exactly.
I've known him for years now, and he's doing such great work with Turning Point, so I'm really proud of you, Charlie. So, just aside.
Okay, so there you go. So I just wanted to get to this point about corruption. This word's been thrown around a lot this week by the Democrats, the culture of corruption. It's just amazing to me that as I said, it's what goes on in Washington every single day. I give you a donation, you give me the policy that you want. That is literally legalized corruption. They don't seem to have any shame about throwing this word around, even though they're doing it.
Well, exactly, and that's because the focus is to try to damage President Trump, and that's where the mainstream media's focus is as well. That's why they, intensely focus on things like Manafort and Michael Cohen. Obviously, neither of them are doing good things, but the media intensely focuses on this because they want to hurt President Trump. It's obvious. People at home see it. But what is remarkable is the NBC and Wall Street Journal had a poll basically showing that President Trump's approval ratings, despite all this attention, have remained unscathed. And I think that's because President Trump never really tried to pretend like he is something that he is not, right? People knew what they were signing up for when they voted for him. And what they wanted to see was him to blow up the system, and they also wanted economic opportunity. And we've seen that under President Trump. So I think that's why, despite numerous reporting on these two individuals, it hasn't hurt them.
And Charlie, it seems to me that what's going on here is that the system, the establishment, the elite, whatever word you want to use, they just can't bear the thought of this outsider who's come along, who doesn't know exactly how it all works, hasn't got the best hotshot DC campaign finance lawyers and all the rest of it. He's been tripped up on these sorts of things. But the basic point, as Lisa was saying, is he's delivering his promises, the economy's improving, but they just want to get him out, however they can do it.
Right, and they're trying to undo the results of a rightful election. And look, I call them the ruling class. And so it's more than just the lobbyists. It's more than just the cartel of the trial lawyers. But if you actually look at the concentration of wealth in America, it has migrated around the counties around Washington, D.C. If you look in the 1970s, the wealthiest counties in America were around Detroit, Philadelphia, and Chicago. Now, 8 out of 10 of the wealthiest counties in America are around Washington, D.C. What do they produce? Do they make cars? Do they do financial deals? Is it Silicon Valley? No. Crony deals. They take our money. It's like the worst brokerage Ponzi scheme you could ever imagine. Send us your money, we'll send you back none of it, and then we get richer ourselves. And this is why Donald Trump won, but they're angry. And I call them the ruling class because they truly believe that there should be a bifurcated society where we should have a different set of rules if you're well connected, if you know the right senators, and you have access to the deep state. And Donald Trump came in and he was not supposed to win the primary, he was not supposed to win the election, and he sure was not supposed to actually fulfill his promises. That's the worst thing that you could possibly do. And they're upset, and they're trying to go near anyone who's close to him. What upsets me most about the Manafort and Cohen thing, of course they've done illegal things, pled guilty, and obviously been convicted. It's because of their proximity to the president that they have gone, that the prosecutors go after him, not because of what they did. They passed on these cases previously, but because of their relationship with the president, they went after him.
That's right, and that's why I think it's so important to sort of keep reminding everyone of this, because otherwise they just win, the establishment win, and you never get anyone like Donald Trump or any other kind of outsider actually challenging the elite. Sarah, just last word to you on this portion of the discussion. This extends not just, as Charlie was saying, and Lisa, in Congress and the policy aides and all the rest of it, it's what we now refer to as the deep state, the bureaucracy, the kind of permanent institutions of government. They're part of this too, and you've really done sterling work exposing that. What do you think? Are they kind of salivating now because they think that they've got the president, or are they still nervous that won't be able to pin it all down?
Look, I think they're a little bit nervous. Well, look what happened today with Lanny Davis, Michael Cohen's attorney. He had to walk back his statements that Michael Cohen has information about President Trump and the Russians. Now he came out and said, well, I shouldn't have said that. We really don't have that kind of information. That's not accessible to me or my client right now. I'm not sure. So he's covering for what he said. And one thing we've noticed is that a lot of stories that have been written on other networks, vis-a-vis CNN has not retracted some of those yet, but stories that said Michael Cohen has some kind of information on President Trump. No, he does not. So I think the deep state right now is still shaking. They're concerned. They wouldn't be fighting back so hard. They wouldn't be tweeting out these tweets from John Brennan and Michael Hayden, and I'm talking about both the left and the right. They wouldn't be attacking so viciously if they weren't afraid.
Sarah, thank you so much. It was really great to have you with us tonight. I hope you can come back soon. We'll leave it there for now.
I look forward to it.
Totally agree with everything, but I don't believe... Yeah, they're looking into the Clinton Foundation and everybody. Yeah, right. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And again, thank you so much for watching.